What's up, Nomad Nation? You've got Godfather, you've got Fireball, you've got Chungus. We make up your Nomad Gamers. How do I have a frog at
Already?
the very beginning of this? Yeah. So, hey, if you are watching us over on Facebook, thank you very much for all your support and all your love. I haven't seen what our view. Somebody pull up our viewer count and
I
tell
was
me
gonna say,
what we got.
give me 5 seconds. I got you. Sorry. Usually I try to do
Anyway,
that
if you're
beforehand. I
watching
just kind
us,
of forgot.
if you're watching us and you're not a follower, then please, 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 please hit the follow button. Turn on your notifications. That way, every time we come live at you, you're going to know about it. And more importantly, this way we can go live every Saturday.
89.
Now, if 89, we're 11 away,
Need 11
boys.
more. Yes. Sorry, I gotta.
Yep. If you are watching us on YouTube, thank you very much. Somewhere down here, you're going to see a subscribe button. Somewhere over here, you're going to see a heart. Somewhere over by Fireball there, you're going to see a thumbs up. Do us a favor, smash all three of those. That way, every time we come live or we come at you with some recorded content, you're going to know. And then we have got all of the subscribers and all of the watchers on DOSfather, on Nomad Gamers YouTube, live right now, and on Godfather's Twitch, that's Godfather09. And you've also got Fireball's TikTok going. You've got his Instagram, am I correct? Your Instagram going?
Nope. I'm trying to work things out differently with my Instagram, but right now I've got Kick, TikTok, Twitch, and I believe there's a fourth one out there, but I forget which one. And my YouTube.
Good deal. Well, welcome to all the live viewers right now. We really do appreciate you watching. And here in just a second, when we start going, I am going to share this over to the Nomad Gamers page, and that way we have full coverage tonight. So it's Shire News again. I guess I'll kick it off with a controversial topic, but kind of not. Did you guys see that interview by Take-Two Interactive CEO on CNBC?
I have
No,
not
I
had a
did not.
chance to watch it yet.
So if you go over to Godfather's page, I put it up on my page. He answers a lot of good questions about Grand Theft Auto 6, why it's delayed. Actually, he didn't answer any questions on that. The only thing he said is they want to polish it. Now, when the host asked him if he was a gamer and if he gamed, he said no. He said he was more of the moneymaker. Makes sense. When they asked him if the game was broken, he told them no. He said they're just polishing them. He says a lot of positive things in there, and he says a lot of irritating things. But at the end of the day, it's only 6 months.
And again, I think this goes for something that Chungus and I both agree on: is I'd rather have a polished game than release something that's still half polished and have.
Keep licking their boot.
I will.
I want a game that works.
Once they
I want a
give
game
me
that
a reason
works.
to not trust them, I won't trust them anymore. That's how
Well,
easy.
it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with that, Chungus. Okay. It has everything to do with. It takes 3 to 7 years to make a game.
Used to.
Am I
Yes.
right or am I wrong?
Wrong.
No, this is as of today.
As of today,
As
depends
of
on the
today.
game. It depends on the game you are making.
It said most AAA developers takes 3 to 7 years to make a game.
That's not true.
Well, I'm just telling you.
What
it
source
says,
is that
3 to 7
then?
years. Game Rant. I found it over on IGN. I found it on a multitude of sites. The one terrible thing about the producers in. Huh? No sound.
I can't go any higher, otherwise I'm echo.
It just isn't.
No.
However, how I uh, what's the word I want? The way I grade information is if I can find a multitude of the same information. Granted, it's going to be a little different, but if the meat and potatoes is there, and I'm finding out Game Rant, IGN, CSNBC, just different sites, then I take it. But I'm not here to argue tonight about Grand Theft Auto 6. I was just reporting one thing. I'm not getting into a big ass argument about it. So I was just wondering if you guys had seen that video yet, because it is very interesting.
Again, I have not had a chance to just watch it myself.
So for
but
you,
I do know
so
of
for
it.
you two, and all of our viewers out there, go to my page, Godfather, on Facebook, and take a look at that interview. It is very
Well,
informative.
I will say this because I know how you said what, 4 to 7 years for a game.
3 to 7.
3 to 7.
37. Um, although I guess for certain games that's entirely true, but if you look at like the
Depends
Call
on
of
the
Duty
game you're making.
series, or you look at like any mainline series, this is definitely just me poking at Call of Duty because they release a game every year, and look how awful some of those games have turned out to be. Within the last, like, how long ago was Cold War? That was 2020, right? 2020, 2021.
Oh god. Yeah, I
Not me.
believe so. Ooh,
So Cold War was done. Was made in 6 months,
and it showed. and it
and
showed.
it showed.
I'm not saying rush any game at 6 months or to a year. There ain't no damn time to get it right in 6 months to a year. But when you're near year 7, even with vacations, that shit should be done.
But again, this also comes back to the whole Rockstar has not lost any trust when it comes
Okay.
to creating a video game.
Stop,
Hold on,
stop,
hold on.
stop. This topic was brought up because of Rockstar, but I'm not faulting Rockstar in itself. I am faulting all of them across the board.
But
Okay.
there's no
Hold
no
Not just
other.
Rockstar.
Hold on.
No, there is. Fireball. Bethesda is horrible at it. How long have we been waiting on Elder Scrolls?
How long has Elder Scrolls been in production? I mean, like, how long did they say they started working
Over
on Elder
7
Scrolls?
years. But you see, they jumped that and gave us Starfield.
Mm-hmm.
They also gave us Fallout 76.
Right, I understand that. Maybe that's because they hadn't started working on that project yet. It's
They
not.
have
It's
been working on it. Back when they announced Fallout 76 on, I believe it was E3. I think it was the summer of 17 when they announced it. Maybe the summer of 16, one of the two. But they had just brought out another mobile game for Elder Scrolls. And everyone knew that it went Fallout, Elder Scrolls, and I think they had a third title at that time. Go ahead.
Fact check, real quick. Elder Scrolls 6 did not start. It entered pre-production, which again we've already stated what pre-production is.
Mm-hmm.
In 2018, formally being announced by Bethesda's Electronic Entertainment Expo, E3. The game entered active production in 2023 following Starfield's launch.
Okay. And you guys
So-
know how much I love Starfield. You know how much I love that game. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, there is no excuse why Starfield came out before Elder Scrolls. None. Zero.
mean,
There is.
Zilch.
No. There is, but in and of itself, realizing how development works and the process it takes,
Okay, I get that part.
definitely hold on. They definitely did not have the storyboard.
hey
and the
Chungus,
scope.
you're breaking out pretty bad.
I'm breaking up pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Am I? Okay, it's just your end then.
Yeah.
So you have to realize that they didn't have necessarily the storyboard or the scope of the game that they wanted to make quite yet. Hence pre-production, getting their ideas down, everything solidified and entering active production in 2023. So in the meantime, while they're still trying to figure out how they even want to make this game, they have to have some money coming in. A la Enter 76, which launched that same year that they started pre-production for Elder Scrolls 6, and still wasn't ready by then. So they're like, all right, we wanted to do Starfield. Starfield's going to be in 2026 originally. Let's make that and release that a little early. They did. And it clearly shows that they did kind of rush through it to get it out in time, in a timely manner. Because again, if they waited like 6 more months, I feel like that game could have been really polished.
Which one?
Starfield.
If they would have waited a little longer. But I state this for the sheer fact of this industry. Like, I don't know if you. That's why I keep bringing up the development of games and anything like that. Because there's this term within the how they say in the industry, it's called crunch, development crunch, time crunch, right? Where compulsory overtime, during it's pretty common in the gaming industry, not just the gaming industry. I want to specify, but it's pretty common where they will work 65 to 80 hours for extended periods of time, often uncompensated, which is undercompensated. I should specify. But it's just this issue of where they could have massive teams, sure, but if they're pushing them day in and day out to try to get this game out in 3 to 7 years, certain games can do that. Call of Duty absolutely easily could do that. Battlefield easily they can do that. They do that often. They do it now. When you have the games and scope that Bethesda, that Rockstar, that hell, even I'm trying to think of like Larian Studios make, those games are going to take some time, especially if you want to get it right and deliver a product that's going to keep people talking about it for years.
I think
people are still talking about Baldur's Gate 3. That game came out in 2023. That was 2 years ago. Yeah, it's still fairly new, so it suffers from the recency bias. But
and think about this. Think about like how anticipated GTA 6 has been since what, 2017?
When it was first announced. I mean, like literally once I was like, they're actually making it. Okay, cool.
How everybody's like, oh, I can't wait for GTA 6. I can't wait for GTA 6. And I will say this because it is no longer funny. Those people in the comments that say, oh, we got this before GTA 6, those comments aren't funny anymore.
They're hilarious. We got real quick, just to give an example. We got China and India at war before GTA 6. Crazy, bro.
We got a new pope before GTA 6.
That's crazy. No, but I do. Some of those jokes are funny. Some of them are not. I guess depending on the usage, it can be funny. But again, not to bring this up too often to argue or anything like that. I just want it to be stated for people to understand that when we want better graphic fidelity, bigger scope type of game, it's going to take time to do right. Otherwise, we're going to end up with complete disasters launch like 76.
And again,
7 years, get on it.
As a prime example. And I mean, you hold on, like you have to, again, just the scope of everything that they want to do. I guarantee you, mark my words, take this as an official on record. GTA 6 is probably going to be one of the best games. No, not one of the best. It will be the best game of this decade. I can guarantee you that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be that. Hey, Fireball, move that mic a little bit closer to your mouth. That's one
Like
comment I'm
put
getting.
your
Okay.
mouth in it, like just.
Deep throated.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to bring up like the video game crunch and how, they want to push these products. People want these products pushed out faster, and then we're overworking people, and then they're not going to deliver as good as product. Hell, even Cyberpunk suffered from that. We gotta let these companies take their time.
And again, like I'm trying to say is, there are certain like video games. House of Void says, "Let me in. I need to play devil's advocate." But I will say this: there are certain games out there that deserve to have that long development time because they need it. I mean, again, talking about a game like Call of Duty where they can chop out a game every year. They don't need that long 3 to 7 years for development. And then
They should honestly take at least 2 or 3.
But that's the thing is, they came out and said we are going to start cycling to every other year of a game launch, and they still haven't done that.
They need to put in the cheater protection.
Yeah, okay. Like that'll ever happen.
Hey,
But you get you get a game like, and this, you might look at me with a strange face when I say this, but single player games like Assassin's Creed, Baldur's Gate. Well, they're not. Baldur's Gate isn't really single player. I know you can play multiplayer with it, but good story games like that, they deserve to have that time to be able to not only fix things in their game, but also polish it up to make it an even better experience. But Void said, but do COD games ever really change? I mean, there was a
No.
lot of change
Yes.
that came with Black Ops 6.
No, I'm just gonna straight up state it. Yes, to a degree.
Aim, point, shoot.
When you start to enter, I mean, it's the same with Fallout. But anyway, when you enter different eras of the gaming industry, you see Call of Duty try to change and match the genre with what they're expecting people to like. I mean, we saw the shift from the modern warfare series to Black Ops 2 going to a little bit futuristic, and then they kept going with the futuristic stuff, and they went too far. People started to get this
Yeah, that's where they
sci-fi
lost me.
fatigue, and I'm gonna be honest with you, they lost me right at Black Ops 3. I'm not gonna lie to you, that story was ass. I'm gonna give it a buck with you. That campaign, garbage. The multiplayer was actually pretty
So,
good. I'm pretty good too, though.
Switching topics.
Okay,
Okay.
I got a topic. So, it's
Oh, you
already
do?
happening, but Super Earth needs us. Helldivers 2, the Illuminate have attacked Super Earth. It is all hands on deck to protect Super Earth. I believe the first city there are 7 cities that we need to protect on Super Earth before Super Earth falls. And I believe the first city has already fallen. And we're not even like a quarter of the way through the Illuminate fleet yet.
They don't got the player count.
They don't got the player count for
There's
this.
only like 100,000 people.
Yeah, this is something
now.
This is
hold on,
something that I
hold on.
thought Chungus would bring up.
This is what pisses me off the most. I was on Helldivers 2 today, fighting on Super Earth, and I looked around the galactic map to see where people are. There are 7,000 fucking players on bugs.
Yeah, people played what they wanted to play.
2,500 people on bots.
Mhm.
You're telling me that 128,000 people are on Super Earth fighting for Super Earth,
Mhm.
and you got fucking bug smashers that are like, I'm just gonna go play out in the gloom. No, get your ass to fucking Super Earth and
Hey.
go.
Fun fact: they paid for the game. They can play it how they want. You can be, hey,
And
you can
that's
cope,
a fact,
seethe, and-
Jack.
You can cope, seethe, and mold all you want. However, they're having fun. Why aren't you? Why are you getting mad at them? They're just going to kill bugs.
Exactly.
Because if we lose Super Earth, the game is over.
That's not true. look
Oh,
all the way at
okay.
the first one. They're
They're
clearly
just gonna
making
shut
too
down
much
the servers.
money.
We're
Yeah,
done.
no, they just reset the star map. That's what happens.
Mm-hmm.
The first game had like I don't know, like a couple hundred fucking wars that you go through essentially.
Hey, Chungus.
Yeah. So by the way, I just want to point out Godfather clearly was segueing into a topic he wanted to bring up. I just want to point that out real quick. Go ahead, Godfather.
Didn't he just bring up the first topic though?
He
You got to
did.
share with us.
He did, but he was gonna segue into another topic, and you interrupted him.
Oh, he's very good at that. That should be Fireball's special attribute.
I just wanted to make sure you can say your piece.
It's all good. Hey, this was
So-
kind of interesting.
I love you both though.
Very interesting, actually. No. I was just bringing up a filler. He can keep going.
Oh,
No.
I think his was also a filler. It's just talking about Helldivers 2.
It's all good.
You want to talk about some actual news? I will state this right now because this is
Okay,
a
what's
rumor.
that?
It's a
Well,
rumor.
it looks like he's
Oh.
not getting his segue in now.
He literally just said we can keep going ahead.
Yeah.
Somebody didn't listen.
Keep moving ahead.
I was gonna bring up the fact that Nintendo has trademarked.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, trademarks. Nintendo trademarks a possible return of. Oh, I misread this completely. Never mind.
No, keep going.
You don't.
Nah,
We know
it's-
we're wrong. Might as well just keep going.
Anyway, I misread this as they're thinking about bringing back the Nintendo DS. They're bringing back a Nintendo DS series. Is what it is.
Oh, yeah, I
that's
saw
why I was
that
like,
too.
never mind. I was like, oops, misread that. Oh well. Anyway, oops.
oops.
That was it.
Well,
Did
my
you-
news wasn't nothing huge. It was. Did you see that there's a sequel now to Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah, it's been codenamed Orion for a while.
Yep, I'm just seeing it.
Oh, really? You're just that was announced like almost a year after the game had originally launched. That they were going to work on a sequel.
Well, this one's saying that they're bringing a brand new map, multiple cities, including one inspired by Chicago, which means it's going to be a war zone.
Night City's already a war zone, brother.
A main city that has gone the wrong direction, pretty much the state of New York. More realistic, lifelike crowds, built using Unreal Engine, could launch sooner than Cyberpunk 2077 did. So, take that for what you will. It's not coming from a very reputable site. I just ran across it. I'll do some more looking into it here in a little bit.
All I'll say is, show me the money, Jack. I ain't gonna listen to shit unless I start to see some evidence of things. I'ma wait. I want to be excited, but CD Projekt Red, you're on thin ice because you fucked up the first time. I enjoyed the story still, but that gameplay, I'm not gonna lie to you. When that game first
That
launched,
gameplay was
that
buns.
I would rather being a little graphic here, I'd rather stick a toothpick in my toenail and kick a door frame. That gameplay was ferocious.
Well, at least they pulled it back to fix it.
They did actually. They delayed it. Still was kind of ass, but they continuously updated it. Free updates. That's the entire lifespan. You have to pay for one DLC that expanded even more into the story and everything. They turned Cyberpunk from a failure into a fucking masterpiece, and this is why we need to the prime example of letting studios take the time to actually make the game, because that is one example of shareholders literally forcing the devs to just push whatever they can out, and it almost bit them in the fucking ass. But the devs were like, we're dedicated to this, we're gonna fix this. They turned it around. Look at Cyberpunk now. People love that game, they love the story, they love the world. For me, day one, I was like, this story fucking spoke to me. Understood it immediately. It was gravy. Perfect. Now the gameplay matches the story, and that's just the best part.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, we all have had scammers. Am I right or am I wrong?
That we've had to deal with.
How many times have you gotten called that your auto warranty needs to be renewed? Now it is you've been approved for millions of dollars in loans, correct? Well,
No, I've just gotten
it's not.
stuff for unpaid tolls.
Well, that too. Oh, I forgot about the tolls. But now I want Nomad Nation to know that somebody has hacked Todd Howard's name
Hmm.
and has sent out over Facebook Messenger the following.
I need money to
Hey,
build
this
Elder Scrolls 6.
this is Todd Howard from Bethesda. You know the video game company ES6 and Fallout 5 are almost finished. But I need a $500 Apple iTunes gift card because we ran out of money. If you don't believe it's me, I have Phil Spencer with me right now. Hey, this is Phil Spencer. I'm actually with Todd. We just need a $500 Apple iTunes gift card to finish ES6 and Fallout 5. this is it's comical, but this is like the 7th post that I've seen that is freaking identical to what I just read. So beware, they're coming for the gaming industry now. Oh my god.
I sent him something I can't say, so I sent it instead.
I'm doing it now in my head too.
Oh no, I think I'm gonna find Todd Howard on Facebook. I'm gonna try and find his account and ask him if I can send him a $500 IOU.
That's so fucking funny.
That's funny. I don't know what's better, that or what's going on in Fortnite right now.
Oh, you were goddamn it! He's beating me to it, motherfucker.
So what's going on in Fortnite right now is Epic Games has added an interactive AI that's Darth Vader. They had a voice thing for Darth Vader in it, and it's an interactive AI. And they had to remove it because it started learning from the players how to say cuss words, slurs, and everything in
That's
between.
awesome.
So you can be
That's
like,
awesome.
"Hey Vader, what do you think about this?" And it would go
Don't
on a
repeat it.
tirade. No, it
Okay.
would go on a tirade, and it would say like some not so great things, and it actually told a player to unalive himself. So they had to actually take the AI out of the game because it was getting a bit too toxic.
I just gotta say this right now. When will devs learn? They can't do things like this because people will ruin it for others. However,
It's
I do
Fortnite.
applaud them. I do applaud them for even attempting it. I was hearing about this for a hot second now, and I've seen some videos of this AI. I will state, actually, the AI was able to pull some deep knowledge of like Star Wars and things, Star Wars lore. Oh my god, I got the hiccups. I'm so sorry. Star Wars lore, and actually respond to it. So I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. And then I saw some of the videos where people got it to say unsavory things, like certain phrases, like neighbor, for instance. That was one of them. That was funny. That was pretty funny.
I think the funniest one was when Vader was talking about Padme.
We cannot delve more into these details. The
Yeah.
footage is out there. If you would like to look it
Yeah.
up, please feel free. It's pretty funny. So feel free to do
Yeah.
that.
Also, did you see that Call of Duty sent out another like terms of service stating that there are certain things you can't do in the game without being banned?
Oh.
Like diddying. You can no longer diddy in the game.
What do you mean?
Otherwise,
You gotta explain
body
it.
shield.
No,
What do you mean you can't body
we're
shield?
we're not explaining Didion.
I don't know what that means.
I
Yes,
don't
you
care.
do, Chungus.
I don't know what that means at all.
I don't
Chungus.
care. Stop. Both of you.
You know exactly what it means.
I don't. You gotta explain that.
Okay.
Wipe that
So-
smug look off your face, and I'll actually know.
We all know Call of Duty is not gonna enforce it, so they won't enforce it. No cheating, but
Also,
Yeah, they take fun away, but they don't get the cheaters out of there. Crazy.
right.
yeah,
I booted up Oblivion for the first time because I was bored, and I went into character customization, and I realized how
Mhm.
funny you can make those characters look.
You've always been able to in Oblivion, dude. It's so good. It's so good.
I could-
made some monstrosities. I do have some news though as well. That's not just like filler, but go ahead, Godfather, because you were gonna go first. I see you there.
so this part really chaps my ass. It pisses me off to no end. I'm gonna read this to you guys. Try not to scream into your mic. Try not to top out our audio.
No promise.
Randy Pitchford tells fans concerned about Borderlands 4 costing $80. If you're a real fan, you'll find a way to make it happen and to afford to buy the game.
All right, give me a second. I'll be right back. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Oh,
Chungus.
cool. Welcome back, Chungus.
He said that, and like
Yeah.
he didn't type that out. That was said
Mhm.
vocally.
Yep.
Randy Pitchford, count your fucking days, buddy. That you're not
Like
long
that.
for this industry if you have that type of sentiment. I'll tell you this right now: Blizzard's only saving grace is the fact that they had fucking WoW. If they didn't have the cash
WoW and
cow that is
Overwatch.
WoW, in WoW and Overwatch, if they didn't have those cash cows, the fucking stunt that they tried to pull with the Diablo, whatever,
4?
Apocalypse or Aftermath or whatever, before Diablo 4. This is when they made that mobile game. You guys have phones, don't you? Oh my goodness, let me tell you.
So here's my thoughts on it. Here we go again with another CEO
Out of
Who
touch with
is-
reality.
who is pretty much telling his customer base, if you don't like the amount of the game, fuck off. We don't care.
That's honestly, that's awful.
And-
God damn you, Chungus.
Hmm.
You gotta stop
Frustrator.
sending me private messages because you're gonna make me laugh, and it's gonna be out of context, and people are gonna understand.
Nope. Stop.
Stop what?
Now, Crust Rider sent that to me on Talking Tuesday too, and I got pretty heated about it, and I just ran across it again, and it reminded me.
That, you know what? The term that chaps my ass. My ass is as chapped as a Sahara right now. Oh, that is infuriating, especially as a Borderlands fan, because I've enjoyed almost every
It was a
single
good
one.
game.
Even Borderlands 3.
It's but here's the thing: is
Even the
Borderlands is
pre-sequel.
just Borderlands is a mindless looter shooter that you can get on and play for hours and realize you not realize you went through hours of gameplay. The fact that they are doing this with Borderlands 4, that
They
that
are-
chaps my ass
They
because
are definitely pushing it because Borderlands 3 was not well received.
Mm.
From the fan base, it was not well received. From new fans, it probably was pretty decent for them. For people who
I
didn't
mean,
touch
look at the
games
Borderlands
beforehand.
movie.
I fucking forgot about. I
Oh, there he goes again.
He's not screaming.
I genuinely just needed a second. I
thought you were
almost
gonna
crashed
scream.
out. I was going to, but then I couldn't. I almost crashed out. I had to just stop everything. Genuinely forgot about the fucking Borderlands movie. Oh my god. Yeah,
That movie was awful.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I knew it was gonna be terrible from the get-go.
Yeah, so did I.
It's just the casting choices were garbage. They genuinely. I'll say this much: Borderlands 3 was a good game overall. That story was just the worst. It was boring, and I know that's rough to say for
Garbage.
certain people because some people enjoyed it, right? I just think that they made some terrible choices.
Emily
off certain
C
characters.
says, "To be fair, everyone knew it was going to be terrible." I mean, you're right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Who said that?
Emily C.
Need to go
No,
around,
yeah,
but like the gameplay was great. Like I actually enjoyed Borderlands 3 so much that I looked into downloading mods to be able to skip the story aspects of the game just to play the game. I genuinely
Okay.
do not like the story that much. But again, going just to move us forward because I'm circling right now. The fact that they have the gall to try to be like, it's going to be worth $80. This story better blow me out of the fucking water. I know the gameplay will. I'm not worried about it in the aspect of the game being able to run well, play well, or feel good. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about their story direction. That's, to me, is a very important part of the game. I can slog through some shit gameplay, like Cyberpunk, if the story is really good.
Or Assassin's Creed.
Or no, that's
Some of them. Some of them.
Some of them, but not all of them.
Some of them. Not all, but some.
Got me sounding like RFK right now. Oh man, some of them. Anyway.
I think we need to
Jesus
clip
Christ.
that for later.
I did want to bring up the fact that there's a petition going around right now with the Andor season 2 closing up and people rewatching and realizing that Star Wars is actually pretty good when you allow people to make good media.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like when you let people actually create art, they are able to do so. If anybody's not watched Andor season 1 or 2, I recommend you go watch those and then go watch Rogue One and then watch A New Hope. And then, no, seriously, because Andor season 1 and 2 plays into Rogue One and it makes everything so much. They did a really good job. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's made me like Star Wars again. It gives me hope that Disney's not actually gonna fuck everything up. Just a little.
Well, did you? And I will say Disney is getting very, very desperate when it comes to trying to make money because they just partnered with Formula One. That tells you right there that they're kind of getting a bit desperate.
I love my Star Trek. I love my Star Wars. Rogue One has got to be utterly the absolute worst Star Wars movie in history.
I knew you had bad takes, but goddamn, dude, what?
House of Void says Disney is losing their ass right now in the parks. I will say this. That I know everybody has their own takes, but that's just an old head that loves the older Star Wars.
Nope, you're wrong on that one too. I think The Last Skywalker was a decent movie.
The Rise of Skywalker?
The Last Skywalker.
It's The Rise of Skywalker, but I get you.
Yeah. He's either talking about The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker, because The Last Skywalker is two mixed together.
Whatever the last fucking movie was. Where
Skywalker
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
So
okay.
Where Skywalker
Last
dies?
Rise, same difference. Where Luke Skywalker becomes one with the Force.
Yeah, that's The Last Jedi.
Disintegrates.
That's The Last Jedi.
Dies.
That's The Last Jedi.
The movie's been out for years. Yeah, it dies.
Wait, what? Hold on.
That movie came out in,
you hated The
2017.
Last Jedi.
No, I did not. I liked it. It had a lot of surprises in it. And for somebody who was hoping that the franchise would build more on the newer characters that they introduced us to, they failed miserably at that.
Well,
Okay. Hold on.
We'll get this piece out.
They grabbed way too much into the past, and they kept the past storyline going way too long. The story itself was good. The movie was amazing. I was let down that they didn't take the franchise into the future. It died with that movie. and I did like it. Rogue
I,
One, on the other hand, Rogue One was trash. I have never fallen asleep in a Star Wars movie
There it is.
until
There it
Rogue
is.
One.
You can't follow
Never.
narrative devices. I get it. Got it. Listen, I don't disagree that The Last Jedi and the sequel was objectively a good movie, because it was. It had good things about it. I'm never gonna say the cinematography was ass or the choreography was just plain bad, because people always like frame by frame, you can see the mess up here. When you're actually watching it, you're not gonna notice that immediately. That's the whole point. You're not supposed to analyze everything, break it down, because once you do that, you're ruining the magic for yourself. Don't be one of those jerk offs. Those a-holes. Legitimately though,
How like it is, man.
I will state this right here, right now. The sequel trilogy as a whole, ass. Bad.
sequel trilogy.
All awful, and it's only because of the story. It's the story that gets me every single time, and it pisses me off to no degree. To the fact that when The Force Awakens was coming out, all of the advertisements were portraying Finn as the main protagonist. He was gonna be the Jedi. We literally have fact that they changed from that due to the fact that Finn would not be well received in China, and they like to play a numbers game at Disney. So they changed.
I mean,
I want to state this.
I mean,
right
look at
now.
that South Park episode.
I want to state this right now. If the story was like this, it would play out perfectly. Finn, stormtrooper in the new Rise of the Empire, turncoats. He's force sensitive. Escapes with Poe. He is on his way to becoming a Jedi. Rey's also on her way to becoming a Jedi. They're both force sensitive people they've met. That type of deal. The Force connects them. That type of deal. Kylo Ren being a Force user, not a Sith, because he does not follow the Sith code. That is one thing I do hate, definitely. There are no Sith in the sequels until somehow Palpatine returned. Are you kidding me? That was garbage. Let's be real here. That was just trash. Right?
And that's why I told you. That's why I told you.
Mm-hmm.
They relied too much on the past.
They definitely did.
I will say this.
However, let me.
I'll bite you.
Okay, let him go, and then I'm going to go, and then you can go.
I haven't talked a single fucking thing about this.
I know. Let me get my entire point out, though. I keep getting interjected. Kylo Ren, dark side user, not a Sith, because there were no Sith. Basically swap. He starts to get his redemption arc as Rey starts to fall more and more towards the dark side, becoming the new Sith. That would play out so much better, where Ben Solo, because he's Han and Leia's kid, turns to the light side, while some nobody, Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter, if they still wanted to go that route, I don't think so, but some nobody who doesn't know the Jedi or the Sith way uses it for her own selfish means, which is literally the Sith way, becomes the Sith. Finn and Kylo, however you want to go about it, but just in those arcs in general would have played out way better than I'm Emperor Palpatine's fucking granddaughter from his cloned son.
Yeah, that was garbage.
It was garbage. They could have done sequels a lot better, but for me and that's my point. I have other points about Andor and Rogue One, but I'm gonna let you guys talk, so spread it out evenly.
Rey as a character was an awful character, not because she was a woman, but because she had no development to her character at all.
You can say the same about Skywalker in the first three.
Yeah, no,
there was actual meat and potatoes to Skywalker, though. With Skywalker, he was he knew how to fly. He knew how to kind of.
How did he know?
Yeah, I'd like to know the same thing.
I'd have to. You don't need to. He doesn't learn. He's just guided by the Force. That motherfucker is so strong in the Force. I'm so sorry.
Hold on.
Finish your point.
Chungus.
I'm trying to stop.
When he first started fighting with a lightsaber, he did not know how to actually fight. He had to learn. With Rey fighting Kylo, even though Kylo was kind of injured, she beat Kylo. That's not something that I feel like.
Okay, since you're trying to list facts, correct you. One, bowcaster. Kylo Ren was shot by the bowcaster, Chewbacca's bowcaster, which was deliberately shown to fucking knock stormtroopers feet away from where they were shot. They were getting blown away. He tanks it, gets up, keeps fighting. He's an injured, experienced sword user, still getting fucked up to a degree, but dogging on these two non-experienced lightsaber users. He fucks up Rey. He knocks her unconscious. Ben picks up the lightsaber. She is only saved because she is a Mary Sue in that regard. I don't know what the term is for the male version of a Mary Sue, but literally Luke Skywalker and Anakin Skywalker are the definition of the male versions of Mary Sues. And no ifs, ands, or buts. You can see through the sequel trilogy, Rey is progressing the same that they do. It's not explained well. We see some training sequences. Sure. We see Anakin get fucked up by Dooku. Sure. He's a non-experienced sword user fighting a very experienced sword user. He gets fucked up, rightly so. And then the next time they fight, he gets better. And the next time they fight, he gets better. But until we see the animated Clone Wars series, we literally do not see his progression whatsoever. It's just assumed. That's what we have to do, is assume that they're actually training and actually fighting. With that being said, going on to the Starfighter pilot thing of everything, the Phantom Menace, Anakin's just a great pod racer, just because. He's the best in the galaxy, apparently, just because. There's the Star Wars is a power fantasy, buddy. Every character that's main bloodline is going to be stupidly strong. And that is, I'm gonna say, that is why I like Rogue One so much, and I like the Andor series, because we don't have any of that space magic bullshit. You have human fucking connections, and that's what Star Wars has been missing. Like Star Trek has the human emotions and connections within their characters, interconnectivity. You see a lack of that when you get to these super powered fucking beings. Anyway, my point, that's done. I yield my time.
But now I'd like to amend my answer. Rogue One is tied with The Force Awakens as the worst in the Star Wars franchise. The Force Awakens was trash. Never before have we seen the Force encapsulate someone who is in space, freeze them.
That's not Force Awakens.
You're saying Last Jedi.
You're talking about The Last Jedi.
Is it The Last Jedi?
Mhm. It's The Last Jedi.
That's the second.
When
Leia pulled herself
out...
to the ship with the Force.
Yeah.
That's the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the second one is tied with Rogue One in my opinion.
Because I was gonna
There's
say
too many goddamn movies.
you told me how much you hated The Last Jedi just because of that sequence.
Yes, because nowhere else in the franchise, I don't care if it's in the anime, I don't care if it's in the books or the comic books or this new garbage TV shows that Disney's putting out, you don't see it. They're all of a sudden in that one scene, they're reaching too far. The Force does not do that.
The Force is able to do almost anything.
30,
You see it in the prequels.
40 years.
Hold on, you see it in the prequels.
35,
literally
40 years,
see-
and they've never had it in anything. And
You
all of a sudden they
literally-
bring it in for the main character.
That's crazy how they also bring in the fact that, oh yeah, you can save your loved ones from death. That's a possibility within the Force. We actually do see
Possibility.
evidence. We see evidence in shows and movies. And you want to talk just movies? We literally see evidence of the Force being used for splits. You ever see that dash they do in the was it the second movie? First movie? Yeah, no, for Phantom Menace. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. Force dash out of the hallway away from the harm. That's never explained ever again. Never used ever again.
There's a lot of it with the Force that I thought they stretched too far.
It's open
Well,
to interpret. I'm not going to
Let's
disagree that was
get back
asked,
to on
but-
topic for video games, shall we? We kind of
Okay,
Well,
you know
it
what? Yeah,
is,
yeah.
'cause Star
Sorry.
Wars is a video game.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up
Yeah, but we're not talking
petition
about.
for Star Wars Battlefront 3 is blowing up because of the Andor series being highly rated. Unironically, I get people have their opinions, but objectively, it is the best of Star Wars we have gotten since
I'm gonna have to
Empire
check it out.
Strikes
I haven't
Back.
seen it.
You really should. I think. What is your? Let me ask you this: what is your issue with Rogue One? Before
It's
I
boring.
recommend this, why is it boring?
Boring.
Why is it boring?
Couldn't tell you. I don't remember. I do remember one thing. I fell asleep. 3 times I tried to watch that movie and I fell asleep all 3 times. It's just boring.
So you need more action in your shows, in your movies.
I
There
think
could be more Star Wars.
That is so Rogue One. When you say more Star Wars, do you mean
I'm
Force
not from-
users?
I'm not from your time frame of this new Star Wars. I'm from the original. And it's hard for someone that is from the original trilogy to keep up with the timeline of them jumping back and forth like they're doing. Because we already know the story of the Death Star.
Yes, but having it detailed out is always a great thing. It's
The
just
one thing-
like, go ahead. Tom.
The one thing that I've always said about this new Star Wars, and Fireball can quote me on this, it's just a money grab. That's all it is.
Well, and talking about like, there are certain series that were definitely a money grab. Like the Alkalite. The Alkalite was definitely a money grab.
The Book of Boba Fett.
The Book of Boba, the Book of Boba
That
Fett.
was horrible
That
too.
I agree.
that was a money grab. You
I
know,
agree with that one.
newer shows today like Andor, The Mandalorian,
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka. Yeah, I would say Ahsoka was a good TV show too. But talking about the Alkalite real quick. Did you see that scene where she started swinging her lightsaber and all of a sudden halfway through
It starts bleeding.
it starts bleeding red, and it's like that's not the bleeding process of a lightsaber. You can't do that.
The Acolyte, I'm gonna be honest with you, not canon in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like
Hold
that
on,
show because they disrespect.
Void
the
just got a
lore
comment real
overall.
quick.
Okay.
Void said ask Gaz if he likes the Star Wars land at Disney.
Like Star Wars Land at Disney, guys, father.
I do.
All right, you like the new Star Wars? That's all I need to hear.
No,
But
that's not what that means.
What that means?
I will
What that means is I like the Millennium Falcon. What that means is I can handle in small doses the new Star Wars stuff. But Star Wars Land at Disney is a majority old Star Wars. Go ahead, Fireball.
But again, like I was saying before I got cut off,
You didn't get cut off.
there are certain series that were money grabs, and I will agree with you on that. But there are the other certain series that do a great job of expanding on the lore. I remember us having a detailed conversation when Rogue One first came out, talking about how we don't know exactly how they got the plans to the Death Star. They even covered it. They even covered it just minutely in the Star Wars Battlefront 2 um
Campaign?
campaign. Yep. And that, hold on, my phone's just doing something funny. Jinx, Star Wars Land is old Star Wars. Yeah, that Sweet Kitty Pie just said that and said Jinx.
Is it only the original trilogy at Star Wars Land?
No.
No, it's
So-
like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's it.
No.
And maybe
So
some
prequels
No.
are old Star
and
Wars.
sequels.
No. It's the original trilogy. And it has some, and not a lot, of the newest 3.
Yeah, I don't. Those three
Yeah.
aren't. They're not real to me.
It doesn't have anything of Jar Jar Binks. It has the I guess what you guys would call episodes 1, 2, and 3, it has very, very little. But it does have the New Order or the First Order or whatever the hell they're calling themselves. But that's about it.
But here's the thing that, like, and this goes to any type of video game adaptation TV show we talk about. There's a good way, like, there's a difference between taking source material and creating a new, but yet stuff that actually works within the universe for material, and then there's going completely off the rails and saying, this is my creative experience and I'm not taking the source material. There's a difference to that. And I feel like Andor, Ahsoka, The Mandalorian, some of these new TV shows do a great job of, they look at the source material and go, hey, look, this is what we got, this is what we're trying to add, and they do a good job at blending it together. I mean, hell, look at, I think it was The Mandalorian season 1 at the end of that season where Luke Skywalker comes out of nowhere and just starts demolishing those Dark Troopers. Was that season 2? Okay, season 2, and just starts demolishing those Dark Troopers. It shows you the absolute just the rawness of the force that he has.
Well, and also it also puts into the fear of the whole thing of, like, Luke Skywalker entered the Emperor's chambers with Darth Vader and came out by himself with Darth Vader in his fucking arms. Would you not, as an Imperial, be fucking terrified of this individual? Because I know I would, and you see that on Moff Gideon's face. That's what I'm talking about when we're missing. Star Wars has been missing this, like, human connectivity within its own series. Like, you don't see a lot of that. It's been pretty cheesy for the most part, and that's okay. The campiness is okay. What we need, I want it to be a bit more serious. I want it to take itself more seriously, like Star Trek has. Star Trek, and correct me if I'm wrong, Star Trek has moved from that campiness of, like, what was his name? I forgot how he talked. Like,
Kirk?
Oh, yeah, Captain
Spock,
Stardate,
Spock, Bones.
Yeah, the original, like, I'm talking about, like, the original series, how they moved.
This guy?
No, I'm not talking about characters. I meant the actual actor's name.
Oh,
he
Leonard Nimoy.
Like this sometimes.
Oh,
William Shatner. Yes, moving away from the campiness
James
of those types of actors and moving more towards the seriousness, like actually building onto that. And I was like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what it seems like Star Trek has done. That's what Star Wars is starting to do, and they needed to do for a while.
Well, here's what I wish Star Wars would have done that Star Trek is very good at. Okay, you've got the original cast: Kirk, Spock, Bones, and Scotty. Right? That's just a highlighting. They moved from the original series into the first, like, 3 or 4 movies. Then they introduced a whole new cast, a whole new ship, a whole new storyline on TV. Got the fans to fall in love with them. Had another 2 or 3 movies. Then introduced fans to DS9, Voyager. Now they're starting to fall off the rails with Discovery and with Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Because now they're falling into the Star Wars trap where they're trying to rewrite history.
I will say this, because I kind of didn't get this be able to talk about this. There is one series in the Star Wars that kind of is a money grab, but at the same time it shows the humanizing part of Star Wars, and that was Kenobi. I did not hold on. I did not like the whole storyline going up to it. Like, the last episode was my favorite episode. I mean, the entire season of Kenobi, or series, because I think it was only a one season spinoff type of thing. They did a whole cat and mouse game between Kenobi and Vader throughout the entire thing, and then when they finally fought each other at the end, I loved the whole sequence they had with Vader and Kenobi fighting each other, and at the very end, you see Anakin just for a split second talking to Obi-Wan. That's the biggest thing that I loved about that whole series, and about, although it was a money grab because, well, it's a one season spinoff.
Well, not even that. It was just a nothing burger happened. Like, they didn't really delve as far into Kenobi's psyche as they should have, with him trying to protect the chosen one, son, fucking Luke. It didn't dive further enough. I do agree that it's a cash grab through and through. It had its good moments, absolutely, but overall, I feel like
The only good moment it had was the Vader Kenobi fight at the end.
yeah. And I will say this, I do understand the rewriting history is kind of as an annoying thing, but when it's not rewriting history, it's literally expanding upon what was told to us. So we have an actual visualization of how these plans, like Leia got these plans, Death Star plans, because it makes it such a big deal. Because this entire time, the entire time the Death Stars talk about being a planet killer in the original trilogy. Yeah, we see it blow up a planet. That's all cool and everything. But having these characters genuinely terrified of this, because the information, like, people didn't know about the Death Star. There's this weapon energy project. What the fuck is going on? Getting these plans was such a big deal. And then you see all of the sacrifices made to build the rebellion, to get these plans. It makes A New Hope and Rogue One, the payoff, so much more impactful. It's more than it makes it that much better. It literally elevates the story even more by adding context to it.
You are being liberated.
Chungus.
Please do not resist.
Exactly.
Chungus.
I'm listening.
Fireball.
No.
We are out of time.
We've been out of time for about 2 minutes now.
Yep. So,
Yeah.
I guess I'll go first. Get out of my screen. Hey, what's up, Nomad Nation? So, what a good conversation tonight. I always like this. So, if you didn't watch Talking Tuesday, go back to Godfather's page and take a look. Give me a comment, give me a share, give me a like, give me all that good stuff. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, I'm going to be streaming Star Trek Online.
We need you on
And
Super Godfather.
You're not going to get me there. And then halfway through, I'm going to stop and I'm going to head to the Xbox and stream on Minecraft. And that Minecraft stream will probably go a little longer than 7, but that's okay. And then we got Thirsty Thursday, and I'll announce what I'm doing over the weekend. Until then, I believe it's going to Fireball next.
All right. You are going to catch me on Helldivers a lot this week. And I will try to stream it as much as I can, but I do have other life things I have to get done before I stream. Helldivers. You are needed. Super Earth is under attack. We cannot lose these cities. I think me and Chungus, if the fight is still going on Friday, him and I are going to be doing a play together of Helldivers to try to help with the resistance. He can agree with me on that when he comes up. Otherwise, it's just going to be me playing Helldivers because, well, with the new update that they have, it's fun again. So I probably won't stream Wednesday morning because I got some stuff to get done. However, Thursday morning and then probably Friday night at around 6:30, 7 o'clock Central Time is when we will do Helldivers, but him and I have to sit down and actually talk about that. So you're next, Chungus.
Hello. Hopefully you enjoyed that Baldur's Gate video. I thought the intro was pretty unique. However, I'm not here to talk about the old video. I'm here to talk about the next one. This upcoming video. It's between an undecided game, flipping between two right now. There's 3 options right now. It's either Ready or Not, Dead by Daylight or Minecraft. I haven't decided yet. Once I do, you'll receive that video. That'll be great. Look out for those. And if you don't know what Ready or Not is, I think we talked about it a little bit on the previous episode. It is a tactical, immersive shooter. You play as a SWAT member within a fictional state that's representative of what Los Angeles is, the SWAT team, any of that. It's pretty fun, pretty good. Dead by Daylight is hard to explain off the rip. I'll give a better explanation probably in the description or something.
You don't know what Dead by Daylight is, you're probably living under a rock.
It's been out for like 9 years, but even if you're not necessarily living under a rock, it ebbs and flows with popularity. And Minecraft, if you don't know what Minecraft is, then yes, you are definitely living under a rock because it is the best-selling game of all time in all of history. Anyway,
take all the time you want, Pookie.
Expect all. I am definitely going to take all the time I am because I like to be nice, slow, and gentle with my people, right? I'm not quick, fast, and easy like these other two. All right, I take my time.
You're easy, Chungus.
I make sure you guys. Hold on. I bring out the voice, and I just talk, and then hopefully you enjoy this. Anyway, it's probably messing with them that I'm taking too long. I'm, as God's father would say, long-winded. I'll show you something small. Anyway,
yes.
Let's take.
What was that, Chungus?
No, must have been the wind. Must have been the wind. That's what it was.
All right. Well,
so 3 of us. All right.
Bye.
That's it.
Damn.
That's your outro.
No.
Damn.
Get that motherfucker out of here.
Poof. You're out of here.
Get him
You're
out of here. I almost
fired.
said a bad word too. I almost said a really bad word. Almost called you a name.
All right. Peace and love. God's father is out the door.
This is Kaiser Chungus. Ciao.